put today's announcement in the context of what the government has done so far. Some would argue, particularly those working in technology, that this is the most important set of announcements the government has made.
So over the summer, we knew we'd inherit a difficult set of circumstances. What we didn't realise was the full extent of the chaotic nature of what we had inherited. So over the summer, we got everything out into the sunlight. Then we had the budget where we fixed the foundations, and now we're starting to implement our plan for change. And this is an absolutely central part of it. We don't know it yet, I don't think, but as a country, as a population, but this generation will be defined by AI. It will be remembered by the moment that AI happened. It is a general purpose technology, and it will impact all of our ways of life. Sometimes we'll know it and feel it, sometimes we will go after it and embrace it. Other times it will be there in the background, driving a lot of the information that we have and the ways that we move around, communicate and work. So getting this right is incredibly important. And the reason why so many people are excited about this is because we understand the scale of it, and we have taken the decision as a country not to sit on the sidelines and allow the market to take care of itself. We have decided as a government to be actively participant in how this technology is deployed, the infrastructure upon which it sits, and how parts of the country will benefit from it, and that we are determined every individual will be able to embrace it to explore their full potential. That is the scale of the potential, and it's the scale of our ambition.
In terms, though, of getting the benefits, there is a global race going on. The UK doesn't have a single supercomputer in the world's 50 most powerful. You've said you're going to increase public sector capacity by 20-fold over 5 years. It's too little too late.
We've inherited such a difficult landscape in our public services, in our economy, in our reputation around the world. And yeah, these are the things that weren't even spoken about during the election. But the previous...
I tried to speak about them, to be clear. I spoke about them after night. No, I felt nobody was listening.
Well, I was listening and I was screaming from the rooftops too, but there we are. That's the world we're living in. But we're starting from a low point when it comes to compute. But look at what we're doing. We have pledged to increase public sector compute capacity by 20-fold in 5 years, by 2030. We will do it. I'm going to be releasing a strategy in the spring. We've already announced today huge investments.
But companies have to wait 10 years just to get the power they need. How are you going to speed that up?
Not anymore, they won't, because we've identified parts of the country where the power supply exists, the excess power supply already exists, where there is quick, rapid connection to the grid, and where we can do a deal with the local planning authority.
So this is not pie in the sky. You know you can deliver the power that these supercomputers, these data centres need.
So we've already identified today the first AI investment zone.
That's just one.
That is one. But that is one with a 100 megawatt supply where it's easy to be connected to the grid, and it can be upscaled to 500 megawatts, which would put it in the very, very most powerful in the absolute world. We are already working with other parts of the United Kingdom to find the other zones. We will be announcing them in the weeks and months ahead, but this is going to be announced rapidly. I make you this absolute guarantee. This isn't going to be years down the road. We are talking weeks and months before other parts of the country are identified, and we're setting about how we can exploit the potential investment there is to get the infrastructure up and running. And it's what we're going to do once that infrastructure is up and running as an economy, a private sector and a government as an active partner, and then embracing this technology to put to the public good within government itself.
Now, as I said, this is a global race. Talent matters. One of the things that the report you received asked for was a new kind of visa so that the brains from outside the UK can come here. You haven't accepted that.
We've accepted all 50 recommendations.
No, you only partially accepted that recommendation.
And that recommendation, we are looking at the visa landscape at the moment, and we already have several visas, including a founder visa, where people can come here if they are investing in the country and they're setting up businesses and so forth. So there are lots of route in here.
But you're not terrified because of the immigration debate of being seen to invite super brains into the UK?
We are so excited, and people in this country should be so proud that we have an investment landscape, the talent, the universities and the commercial ability for which people around the world aspire to come to us. And we're not just talking about the countries that are often in the news about immigration. People are coming here from America. You know, they are coming here from across Europe because they want to be part of the technological revolution that is happening here. I visited the United States 3 times, Silicon Valley 3 times in the last year. All of the constituent parts of Silicon Valley that make it so magical when it comes to innovation and commercialization of technology, they do exist in Britain, but they're just not adding up to more than the sum of its parts.
Okay, but I've got to talk to you about that, because the big problem we've got, in one of the things that the report identifies, is we have lots of smaller enterprises. As I say, amazing creativity, amazing technical ability, but what always happens with our successful companies is at the moment they need proper funding, they sell out to America. Where is the capital going to come from so that we grow great British businesses rather than businesses that the rest of the world exploits?
I totally agree. And having been to America, sat there with British businesses, with British business people, inventors, creators,
who had to go to California.
And they didn't have to always, but the speed of investment is so rapid. And sometimes here there are too many bureaucratic hurdles to overcome.
So how are we going to keep these people here?
Well, so the Chancellor is already quite advanced in her work on reforming the pensions market so that the pensions capital can be unlocked to a degree and safely, so it can come into the economy and start backing, because this is one of the key areas where investment is quite readily available in the United States, but here, you know, we are behind because of the culture of investment here. We are working on these, and where we have to adapt regulation in order to do it, and where we have to put incentives into the system by using the power we have as government, we will absolutely do it. We know there's a lot of work to do, but the potential is there and we can't miss out on it. I am devastated every time somebody commercializes, they spin out, they're creating jobs and wealth, but they hit a ceiling and they have to go to America in order to get the capital to keep them. Now, I understand why they're doing it, because they have this great idea and they care so much about the product that they just want to do what's best for the product and the innovation, and that sometimes means leaving Britain. That should be a real problem for us. It is such a shame that the previous administration didn't feel as strongly and sad about this as I do. So we're doing everything we can do to create the circumstances where people can innovate here. We have to do this. I mean, Google DeepMind has been mentioned many times to me in recent days. It's been mentioned many times this morning at the launch. But Google DeepMind was created here.
It was a great British company that is now worth hundreds of, billions and billions and billions, right? Probably more than $100 billion, right?
Well, certainly.
And it's owned by Google now.
Yeah, and it was sold for $400 million.
Yeah.
So, you know, a great investment for them. It's great that it's still domiciled, it's based here, but the company is obviously domiciled.
Is being taken
is
by
abroad.
US.
This is inspiring me to move forward. I don't know why the previous government wasn't sort of as inspired by the potential that had for us here. Now, what we're doing, we've also created a sovereign capability unit that's going to Let me rephrase that. We've also created an AI sovereign unit that will report directly to the Prime Minister and myself. That unit is to look at the constituent parts that this very, very potent force of AI needs in terms of its skills, investment, all of the things that it needs, the geography to be around where the talent is. We're going to use the power of the centre of government to bring these circumstances together, not just to create the innovation here, but to make sure that we can be at the cutting edge of it. The countries around the world that can stay at the leading edge of AI as it unfolds will have an advantage to exploit everything that's out there, but not always just keep ending up buying off the shelf. I want us to be creating it, not just taking it.
Now, the two other areas I need to talk to you about. One is the National Data Library. It's not clear to me whether this is going to be an open source library. Prime Minister did not answer the question, which was, are we going to be charging for this data? Is the taxpayer going to make money out of this data?
We want to use public data. At the moment, we have a situation where most data sources within government departments don't even talk to each other within departments, let alone between government departments. We have to end this. This is a long-term project that we are looking to start quickly.
But is it open source for the public benefit, or are we going to make money out of it?
Let me explain. Right now, we're in a 6-month scoping period where we're looking at all of the issues and how we move forward with a plan to deliver it. It can't be delivered over one parliament. This can only be done in long term. We can only do this because we have a vision for a 10-year renewal of our country. So when it is complete,
Why does it take so long, out of interest?
because we have to change the way that data is stored, it is used, it is accessed. We've inherited a situation where different government departments are in contracts with different companies for different periods of time, and the data is locked away in very different ways. The data is created and stored in different ways. We have to make sure that as we bring data together safely and in an anonymized way, that it merges together and it is interoperable between the different data sets. It can be held centrally. Once it is centrally, now these are the principles that we will adapt as we move forward. We will explain to the public what we're intending to do. We will consult with the public about how they want their data used and how we want to use it as a resource. But the potential is this. If we have the data that is created by a welfare state, and then we use that data in a safe and an anonymized way that protects people's privacy, think of the scientific purposes that could be put to. Not even China or America could have access to such rich data.
Yeah, but if it's exploited by, I mean, to get back to this question of making sure the benefits accrue to the UK, if it's exploited by some enormous US multinational pharma company and they make all the profits, what benefit of that is that to British taxpayers?
This is a British sovereign resource for the 21st century.
So
that
we're going to make
creating,
sure that we retain the earnings that accrue to it.
And we will make sure it is Britain that benefits. Not just benefits financially, but there will be commercial opportunities here that will stem from it. The benefit for the health. Think of the scientific advancements in medicine that can come from it. Think of the understanding just in basic things like teaching that we could use for. All of these things, including mechanics, and also physics and chemistry. All of these things could be advanced hugely from using data and the rich data source that we have. But at the moment, it is so far dispersed, it is so fragmented, that it's not being put to anything like the use it should be on behalf of the country.
Now, in fact, there's one final area I need to talk to you about. This is the most powerful industrial revolution of our lifetimes, maybe the most important industrial revolution for 150 years. Parents at home with their children, worrying about what this means for the earning potential of their children, for the careers of their children. What should parents be doing now to make sure that their kids have the relevant skills?
We do have agency in this. We do have the ability to control how AI is developed, deployed, and how it impacts our country and as families too.
But you think about this all the time. What are the jobs of the future that parents should be talking to their kids about?
Well, every youngster growing up needs to have basic communicative, social, and then skills upon which they then develop their individual talents. AI used properly, and we will insist it be used properly, will help exploit those talents, develop those talents, but it will also help people be more productive. Individuals will be more productive. More time spent doing the things that we're talented at, less time spending the things that actually get in the way of us being economically active. So rather than just thinking that we are going to be different human beings acting in very different ways, we will still have innate potential that will have the better opportunity to be exploited because of AI. AI is the answer to many of the challenges posed by AI, and that's why it's so complicated. So yes, AI will disrupt many people's workplaces, but AI will also mean that we have a more pleasurable, exhilarating, satisfying experience in the workplace, because we'll be doing more of the things that plug directly into our talent. And there is nothing more amazing in life than having a talent that's being put to good use. Too many people in our country have talents that are either diminished, ignored, or you can't exploit them in the workplace because you're doing so much other stuff on top of it. That's the potential of AI. People should be excited about it, but they should also be engaging with us about what they are anxious about, because it is my job to make sure that people feel safe. Not just are safe, they feel safe in the modern world. Because if you feel safe, then you are a much better place to exploit all the opportunities out there. If you don't feel safe, then of course you'll be turning your back on it and resisting it. And that's not what we need as a country.
Peter Carr, many thanks.
Thank you.